Howdy everyone, Kieran here again, and I just thought I'd, talk about part 2, as you should call it, of the HGV shortage, drivers and the driver shortage, and just, just what's recently been announced as well. So recently the government have announced, this was on the news I think on maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, I think it was maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. The government have announced that they're going to be bringing the HGV training and making it shorter. So I'd imagine you skipping class 2 and going into class 1. I think that's how it was meant, or they're making it all into the same test. And I just thought I'd give my thoughts on it. Obviously I mentioned a few, I knew that was roughly what was going to happen, because there was rumours of the proposals that was going to happen, that they were just going to skip class 2. And the more I thought about it, and I agree, I think like if you're not interested in class 2, why would you want to do class 2? Why are you paying £1,300 for a course that you don't even want to do? I've got my class 2 licence, but I don't want to do anything rigid. So and I also found it easier to drive class 1 than I did my class 2. It's just easier, even though I failed the first time, but I still found it easier to drive a class 1 truck than a class 2 rigid. That's just my experience. Everybody else's might be different. People might find that absolutely crazy, blah blah blah. So the more I thought about it, the thoughts, and thinking, right, well, that's great, but then I've started to think out, well, how would that work? How would that work for drivers? How would it work for the DVLA? How would it work for training companies? And I can guarantee you, what will happen is, if they're going to skip class 2 and go to class 1, I reckon what will happen is, I reckon training companies won't keep the same prices, because no way, because they're losing out £1,300 or whatever the course is, because I know there's tons of courses at different prices depending on your area. Mine's just £1,300, so we'll just go for that, just for an example. So how's my training company going? My training company is not going to lose out £1,300 and keep the price at £1,400 for class 1. There's no way they're going to do that. If they're going to say, well, if we're going to do class 1, then they'll put the price up. There's no way around that. I can guarantee you that's what will happen. Or what will happen is, it'll go from like a 5-day course to like a 8 to 10-day course or something like that. I can't see it just going straight to class 1 normal as. And there's a few reasons for that. Is one, the training companies about, well, there's no way we're losing out thousands of pounds a week for, and also they're still paying. So for instance, my training company, they had 3 rigids. So if they're now saying that you can now go and sit class 1, who would want to do class 2? Who would want to do that? The money's in class 1. You can get better money, definitely where I am anyway, in the Edinburgh Lothians. The pay, and I've said this in a few videos as well, the pay is absolutely awful in class 2 where I am. Class 1 you can get really good money, and I think that's what will happen. Why would anybody want to go do class 2 when they can go straight to class 1? So I think the only way around it, what they'll do is they'll put the prices up. Instead of paying £1,400, you might be paying £2,500 or 2,400 or whatever. That's the only way I can see it. But even then, even if that is, there's no way that is going to speed up the driver shortage really, because the issue is, again, it's a DVLA dates and stuff like that. Like luckily I got a cancellation, so I was lucky to resit my test. But there's guys in there who are booked in for a class 2 and class 1 to do their course, and my training company, the next available date they've got is like the 2nd or 3rd week in December, well, not the 3rd week of December because that's Christmas, but the 2nd week of December, and then it's followed on to next year, which is just absolutely crazy. How I think the government need to get the DVLA sorted. I think that is the main thing, because it's an absolute joke how people are waiting. I was very lucky to get a cancellation. I was possibly going to have to wait until mid-October for my resit. Now that would have just totally disheartened me. And one, you're being out, because obviously it's handy having that week's course, because then you're used to driving, you're used to the spatial awareness of the cab and the truck. But if I'm not driving for 6-7 weeks and then come to just do my test, you only get like an hour in the morning of a few reverses, another uncoupling and couple, and then you're out for half an hour driving to the test centre. So I think like you need to have, I think that's just a joke. I think the DVLA need to get their finger out, the government need to get their finger out. You know, I know guys who are literally struggling to get theory tests. You know, I've got pals who want to do it, who are booked in, got their medical and stuff done, but and the thing is as well, talking about medicals, I was speaking to a good pal of mine a few days ago. For when I sat my medical, it was £55. It was, I just went on to Google because my GP didn't do it. They say they don't no longer do it. Some GPs are saying it's 180 quid, I've heard, if you wanted to sign the medical, and it is only literally like a 5-minute medical, you know. So I went online and I done, I think it was 55 quid mine's cost, something like that. He's telling me that my pal, he's telling me that he had to pay £110 now because he couldn't find anything cheaper, because I think what's happening is all these companies are taking advantage of the driver shortage and saying, well, we can get more money. Nah, I get that. If you have a business and you see an opportunity, 100%, because at the end of the day it's money in your pocket for your business, more profit. But it's just another knock-on effect for the driver shortage, you know, and it's just like I find it quite difficult for people to actually, I'm lucky, I think I just kind of done it at the right time, all my stuff, because now it's getting impacted more than ever. When I sat my theory and stuff like that last year, and I was quite lucky, this year I managed to sit it because it got cancelled last year, but I kind of got everything done before it all kicked off. But he's struggling to get a theory test. He was saying that, you know, he's saying that they can't get a theory test until the end of November, and I'm thinking, how disheartening is that? You know, you want to get into the industry, you're willing to spend the money, but you just can't get a theory test. And then if you fail your theory test, God knows how long it's going to take for a reset of your theory test. And then you've got your CPC as well, and I think it's just absolutely baffling, to be fair. And I think it's really hard. You know, you're talking about you want new drivers into the industry, but I find that, you know, it's the government side of it that's actually making it a lot harder for people, because there's driving courses that would probably do, you know, they would probably get space to get people through, because at the end of the day it's more money for them through the week, so they would probably, you know, jump through hoops to get more dates, you know, per week. Doesn't matter what they do, even if it's getting more trucks or whatever. I can guarantee these guys would be jumping through hoops because they would want more money, but at the end of the day these guys' hands are tied on the government. The government on the DVLA has just can't get testing centres, you can't get, you know, instructors who do tests and stuff like that. So, you know, so I think that hearing this going straight from class 2 or straight from car licence to class 1, I kind of get it. I agree with it if you don't want to do class 2, but at the same time I don't know how it's going to work. I can't see how it's going to quickly change the circumstances where passing your getting driver shortage and a lot quicker and stuff, because I can't see it happening, and people can't even sit theory tests or resits and God knows how, and you can't even get tests at the moment because of DVLA, then I don't know how they'll do it. But listen guys, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on it and see what you think about what's happening in the industry. You know, how would you solve it? That'd be interesting, because that's, you know, would be interesting to hear other people's thoughts just in minds, and see if I agree with it or not. But yeah, listen guys, leave a comment on what you think, and yeah, I'll catch you next week guys in the next one, alright?